Hello everyone. We started learning LLMs and we started with the key characteristics of LLMs. In today's session, we'll be learning what are the training methodologies while training the large language models. What exactly are we doing under training the LLMs? And LLMs are trained generally in two methodologies. One is the pre-training phase, the other one is the fine-tuning phase. So let us talk about the training methodologies. LLMs are trained using unsupervised learning techniques on vast amounts of data. Unsupervised learning is pre-training. So pre-training of LLMs happens under unsupervised methodology. So LLMs are trained using unsupervised learning techniques on huge amounts of data sets. How huge? It could be one textbook or multiple textbooks or entire Wikipedia like. So you are trying to give a huge corpus of the data and you are training the LLM. This training process typically follows these steps. First one, data collection. I need to have huge amounts of data because I want to train my LLM. I need to collect huge amounts of data. That is the first phase wherein you are trying to collect the data from books, websites, new articles, whatever is possible to get the data. After collecting the data, what are we trying to do? Tokenization. We know what do we mean by tokenization? You are trying to divide the data into sentences, words, subwords, depending on the division mechanism we are using. So you are going to go for tokenization in the next phase. Then you are going for the concept called pre-training, which happens under unsupervised method and without any labels. We know what do we mean by unsupervised learning. There won't be any labels for the data and the model is simply learning the entire data that we have fed to it. Right? It is trying to understand the meaning of it, it is trying to understand the abstractions of that, it is trying to understand what are various levels of abstraction, the intricacies, the context, complexities, everything. So it is trying to learn the language under pre-training. After pre-training, we have the concept called fine-tuning. Under fine-tuning, we will be working with supervised learning, wherein you are trying to make the LLM do a specific task after learning the language. Finally, we go for optimization. Various methodologies are used in order to do the optimization of the training mechanism. In today's session, the concentration is on pre-training. That is why I highlighted this one. So let us talk about pre-training a bit detailedly. So this refers to the initial phase of training where the model learns the general language patterns, knowledge and structures. As I am talking about, it is trying to understand how a sentence is formed, what are the grammar rules, if at all I have synonyms, which word has multiple synonyms, all such knowledge patterns, language structures, everything are learnt from the huge amounts of data set we are supplying. This phase is done, as I kept on mentioning, unsupervised manner, meaning the model learns from raw text without labeled data and no specific instructions, learn like this or use this algorithm. We don't give any instructions to the LLM to work on a specific task. You are learning this language to do translation. No, no such instructions. You are just asking the LLM, please get trained on this data. You are allowing it to learn the language. So what are the key aspects of pre-training? First one, objective. What is the objective of pre-training? Whenever it is learning the language, we should be making sure the LLM is trying to understand the language by predicting the words or tokens based on the context. We wanted it to learn based on the context of a specific word. So in such things, the context level objectives will be including generally two types. What is the first one? masked language modeling. What do I mean by this? Say for example, it's like fill in the blanks, like say for example, I told I am writing with a, I stopped there and I use a mask there. Can you fill the blank? Yes, you are writing with a pen or a pencil. Or if I am using a whiteboard, you can tell I am writing with a marker. So, you are trying to fill a particular word. When can this happen? When you understand the language, when you understand the context, right? So, you are making sure the large language model is able to understand the words or tokens of the language in such a way that it is trying to understand the context and it is trying to work with masked modeling or masked language modeling. So, even if I miss a particular word, it is able to fill that one depending on the context, right. This is the first objective. What is the second objective? Causal language modeling. What is this one? Say for example, we experience this when you are working with mail composing. These days Google Mail is also, it is coming with this kind of causal modeling, wherein when you are typing something, it will predict what would be the next word when you are typing. Almost all the text processing environments are working with this. It will try to predict what would be your next word when you are typing, right. If my LLM can do that, I say it is working with CLM, right. So, my objective is it should be able to understand the context and fill the masks which we are trying to leave as blanks. Secondly, it has to understand a particular sentence and it has to predict what would be the next word when the user is trying to compose or type a message. This is the first thing about training. Second one, massive data sets. As large language models, we need not mention this all the time, but because it's a custom, large language models are pre-trained on enormous amounts of data which are spanning across books, websites, articles, everything, which is helping the LLM to gain extensive knowledge on a particular language, on a particular data set. So, what is my objective? What is my goal of pre-training? I should have understanding of context and predict the next level, and I should be having extensive knowledge. When can I do these two tasks? When I have extensive knowledge. How do I get my extensive knowledge? When I work with huge amounts of data set. Then it is trying to learn general knowledge. It's very interesting. Not only you are making it learn the language, you are trying to make it have general knowledge in the language. What do I mean by this? Whenever you are trying to give it the geographical information of the particular country or geographical information of an entire world, you have fed to the LLM. You just told there is a country called France, there is there are so many cities in that, this is the area, this is the population, this is the language. You have told everything. Now, when you ask a question, what is the capital city of France, it should be able to tell you Paris. So, the model should have not only knowledge of the language, it should have general knowledge of the language also. It is where it is trying to generate new content. I did not tell in my data set, nowhere I wrote Paris is the capital of France. Based on its learning, it has to have that general knowledge. This is one more objective. Next one, no specific task training. As I kept on talking, under pre-training, it is allowed to learn the complete language without inclined towards a specific task. Say for example, I asked you, please study this textbook. That's it. Did I tell you, study this textbook, tomorrow you need to write a test? If I tell that, your learning will be subjected to this constraint. On the other hand, I just told you, please learn it. When I say this, you are just focusing on learning the concept, not specific to any task, right? Then transferability, what do I mean by transferability? Transfer learning, wherein whatever language, whatever knowledge I have learned during pre-training of this particular data set learning, I should be able to apply this while doing some other task with minimal adjustments or zero adjustments also possible, right? So in summary, what is happening with pre-training? It is equipping the model with linguistic and worldly knowledge, and it is enable them to adapt to a wide range of tasks later. When I do the tasks, once I learn the language, I go for fine tuning, wherein you are making sure the model is performing a specific task. So as far as pre-training is considered, it is only learning a particular language, huge amounts of data set. Thank you.